There's a story here about Jen Psaki. She is trying to deflect from what's really going on. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory here. First off, there has been several viral videos come out of Antifa getting ragdolled by some Muslims. There's been in 3 cities now, I believe it is. Muslims come out at school board meetings or come out to protest the drag shows that are going on in their city because of the fact that these are child sanctioned events and or child allowed events. And so, as what I know about Muslims, they are mostly a very religious people. They stand on their morals about how they feel about their God, and they do not have a problem in the world standing up against tyranny. They don't mind speaking up and speaking out loud and saying, "Hey, look, not my kids. You're not going to teach this crap to my kids. These books don't belong in these schools. These flags do not belong in these hallways." All the things that come along with this creeping in indoctrination is starting to backfire because more and more people are exposing it. More and more people are waking up to what is really going on and having to become more involved in their children's life just to protect their children from this crap. And I just want to give my hats off and thumbs up to the Muslims out there that are standing up loud and proud. All parents that are standing up loud and proud against this crap that is going on, this attempted indoctrination going on in so many of our schools and institutions, all the way up to college level. So what we got here is we got Jen Psaki is concerned because it's been several major stories over the last couple of weeks about Muslim communities standing up to these school board meetings, to these at these drag show events in protest, and she is now trying to somehow blame this on the Republicans with her spin of this. We got to listen to this together, folks. This is crazy crap. This girl has lost her mind.
So lately I've been noticing the reemergence of a very old GOP playbook that harkens back to President Richard Nixon's infamous Southern strategy. During his campaign for president in 1968, the Republican Party made a concerted effort to reach white Southerners who used to vote for Democrats by playing to their fears of African Americans and the civil rights movement. And it worked. By pitting one group of Americans against another, the GOP successfully managed to split off Southern whites from the Democratic Party. Now, decades later, the right wing is reviving that same playbook, this time with Muslim Americans and trans people. Hear me out here. The GOP is trying to recruit Muslim Americans, a community that makes up less than 2% of the U.S. population, against another tiny marginalized group of Americans.
The transgenders. That is not what's happening, folks. I have seen zero signs that what she's saying has any proof to it. I think she is literally trying to play this okie doke, fake them out, hope you believe the lie, and will change your way of thinking because you're the one being tricked. Or maybe she's just putting this out here because the Democrats are looking so bad because they're pushing this garbage in our schools, and most Americans know it. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're Mexican, whether you're whatever your nationality is, most people in this country know what party is pushing this indoctrination. So while she tries to trash the Republicans here, blame the Republicans, you got to remember the Democrat Party is the party of the Ku Klux Klan right from day one. That's just one little crumb of what I can tell you about the Democrat Party from what I've learned doing this over the last couple of years. But Jen Psaki, as usual, is trying to make everything somehow the fault of the Republicans. So don't believe a word of it, folks, but it is kind of interesting how she tries to spin this and hope somebody will believe this garbage.
Transgender people. It's important to remember that back in 2011, during the Republican primary, the right wing had designated Muslim Americans as public enemy number one. No surprise, given that conspiracy theorists, remember the birthers? I do, had been trying for years to portray President Obama as a Trojan horse for Sharia law. Republican after Republican candidate ginned up fear about the fabricated threat posed by an Islamic legal doctrine debated by scholars for centuries. To them, the imaginary prospect of Sharia law in this country was scarier than gun violence, climate change, and more important to discuss than, say,
Ooh, the climate change. It scares me, folks. I'm terrified to go outside right now. You might break out in a sweat because the weather's changed a little bit today. It went from hot to very hot. See, that right there is climate change, and it's terrifying, folks. No doubt about it.
Millions of new enemy, then the old enemy. Consider this from 2015.
We cannot be the warehouse of all these, Muslim people coming from these far-flung lands where, we're just not going to be able to control who becomes radicalized, who doesn't, because of technology. It's impossible.
Absolutely.
Now, if you can believe it, Laura Ingraham is rallying Muslims against books in schools with LGBTQ plus themes.
Us Catholics and other Christians, other people of faith have been waiting for the Muslims to step up on this issue.
In an interview later with Semaphore, Laura Ingraham's guest, who you just saw on the screen, couldn't believe how ironic this all is. He said, quote, 5 years ago, Laura was saying we shouldn't have Muslims in this country. Now she's saying, thank God the Muslims are here. Just to summarize, the right-wingers, the conspiracy theorists, the birthers, they now want us to forget the years they spent fear-mongering.
You see how she took that statement out of context, folks? That is the kind of garbage news that you get on stations like MSNBC. That stuff is straight trash for your brain. I've had enough, folks, but you get the message here. She's trying to blame the GOP for the Muslims standing up for their own children. How can you spin that and make it somebody else's fault? Folks, it's a little bit of Joe Rogan burning Dylan Mulvaney to the ground with this comment. Check it out. This is great. It's because it's so honest.
They have no idea that if you take a brand, Bud Light, which is like known for, blue collar drinking people, that they like to fucking watch football and drink Bud Light, and then all of a sudden you have this mentally ill person who's just an attention whore, and you make a big deal out of putting this person's 365 days of womanhood. You put that on a Bud Light can, and they freak the fuck out.
I think Joe Rogan called it out right when he said, "This ain't nothing but an attention whore." Like, subscribe, and share, devoted patriots. Everybody have a great holiday. Over and out.